The real you is not a puppet which life pushes around. The real, deep down you is the whole universe. Alan Watts. From the moment we're born, we're taught to see ourselves as individuals. We're given names, roles, identities. We're told what is good and bad, right and wrong, acceptable and unacceptable. And in all this conditioning, we begin to mistake these labels for who we truly are. We carry this idea of self, shaped by memory, culture, and fear. We think of ourselves as beings locked inside our heads, separated from the rest of the world, watching life from a distance, trying to control it, fearing it, resisting it. And yet, something within us senses that this version of me is incomplete, artificial, false. In Chapter 9 of The Wisdom of Insecurity, Alan Watts invites us to challenge the most fundamental illusion we've been taught, that we are separate selves, isolated from the world around us. He calls this the beginning of a radical awakening, the birth of the true self. This is not about becoming a better person. It's not about self-improvement or fixing your flaws. It's about discovering that the self you've been trying to improve doesn't actually exist, not in the way you think it does. This can be deeply unsettling. We are so used to building our lives around an identity. This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I fear. But these are just thoughts, stories, mental habits. The self, as Watts explains, is not a solid entity. It's a process, a flowing experience. It's more like a dance than a dancer, more like a flame than a thing. The moment you try to grasp it, define it, hold it still, it slips away. Because what you truly are is not something that can be pinned down. We live as if there is a thinker behind the thoughts, a feeler behind the feelings, a controller behind the actions. But that's an illusion. There is only thinking, feeling, acting, life moving through you. You are not the observer of the world. You are the world observing itself. You are not separate from nature. You are an expression of it. Just as waves are expressions of the ocean, just as leaves are expressions of the tree. This realization is not about abandoning responsibility or becoming passive. It's about coming home. It's about stopping the endless war with yourself. It's about letting go of the exhausting need to manage your identity and finally resting in the truth that you are already whole. Not because of what you do, but because of what you are. The birth of the true self happens not when you achieve something, but when you stop pretending. Imagine this. No longer needing to prove your worth, no longer fearing what others think, no longer chasing some perfect version of yourself, just being, fully, presently, and openly. That is not failure, that is liberation. And yet, many people resist this freedom. Why? Because the ego, the false self, fears its own death. It would rather be miserable and in control than free and vulnerable. It clings to suffering because at least suffering feels familiar. But Watts urges us to face this fear directly. He reminds us that what we're afraid of losing was never really ours to begin with. The self we're defending is a phantom. So how do we move beyond it? We begin by watching our thoughts, our reactions, our cravings for control. Not judging them, not trying to change them, just seeing them clearly. In that clear seeing, the illusion starts to dissolve. And what remains? Stillness, spaciousness, presence, a deep sense of connection with all that is. You begin to see that life isn't happening to you, it's happening as you. The trees, the wind, the sounds, the feelings, the breath, they are not separate from you. You are not a thing in the world. You are the world, temporarily appearing as a person, with a name, a story, and a heartbeat. The birth of the self is not the beginning of something new. It's the end of forgetting. It's remembering that you were never alone, never separate, never outside of life. It's understanding that the moment you stop trying to be something, you become everything. This awareness brings with it a natural compassion for yourself and for others, because once you see that everyone is struggling with the same illusion of separateness, the walls start to fall away. You stop judging. You start listening. You feel the sacredness of even the smallest moment. To be truly alive is not to perfect the self, but to lose the self in the miracle of now. So if you're tired of the inner war, if you're exhausted from trying to fix, control, and defend the person you think you're supposed to be, let it go. Let yourself be reborn, not into someone better, but into someone real. Because in the end, you are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean remembering itself in a single drop.